Happy October, everybody. It is Halloween time. So, there are diehard horror fans like myself, and they watch it all year round. And then there's some people who just get in the mood during the holiday season, and that's fine too. But we all need horror to watch, right? So, I used to do this all the time. I used to do this for months where I would just, every at the beginning of the first of every month, I would put out the list of movies that was coming out that month, and I just haven't done that in a while. But because it's October, I thought, hey, I should do it for sure this month. I even got my laptop out. I wrote it all down. I'm being professional today. If you don't want to listen to me, some people don't. That's totally fine. I'm going to leave it in the description below, all the titles and their dates. So there you go on that. But if you want to hear all about them and what they are, so you don't have to look them up for yourself, go ahead and stay here and I'll tell you all about them. All right, so going in order of how they're releasing, on October 1st, we've got Doom Annihilation. So Doom Annihilation, I already watched it last night at midnight. It was not good at all. I do not recommend it in the slightest. But I did want to bring it up in case anyone was looking forward to it. I mean, if it's your prerogative to check it out anyways, you go for it. But honestly, I mean, yeah, it's not good. All right, next up we have on October 3rd, Shudder is getting the Furies. I always want to read this, the furries. I just keep imagining like a little furry convention and like everyone's killing each other. That'd actually be a great movie. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. Like, you don't know who the killer is because everyone's been wearing these like furry costumes. It's a good one. Oh shit, someone's gonna steal that. All right, anyway, so this one, it's been on VOD for a little while, but it's coming to Shudder. I personally have Shudder, so this is how I'm going to watch it. The only thing I've heard about this movie is that it's extremely gory, but I did write down a little bit of kind of a synopsis here. Essentially, it's 8 women who are being hunted by 8 killers. It kind of looks like a Running Man or a Surviving the Game, one of those kinds of movies where people are forcibly pitted against killers. As I said, Running Man is going to be the first thing that comes to your mind, but there's been 100 of these. So there you go, there's that one. But yeah, everyone I've heard who's watched this, they'll have all sorts of mixed feelings, liked it, loved it, hated it, whatever, but they all say it's fucking violent and gory. So I'm looking forward to that, and that drops actually by the time, like 24 hours from now. Sweet. All right, next up on the next day, October 4th, we got a few things coming out. One being In the Tall Grass with Patrick Wilson, and this is an adaptation of the short Stephen King novella, short story. I've never read this one. I've read a lot of Stephen King, but this just is not one of them. I did not watch a trailer. I want to go into this one completely blind, so I honestly don't know what this is about, but Netflix original, Patrick Wilson, Stephen King adaptation. All the Stephen King adaptations that have come to Netflix so far, whether it be Gerald's Game or freaking 1922, or they've been awesome. So I'm highly anticipating this one. All right, and then we move over to Hulu, and we got the first episode of season 2 of Into the Dark, and this episode is called Uncanny Annie. Now, if you don't know what Into the Dark is, it's an anthology series on Hulu. Every month you get a new horror movie, feature-length film on Hulu. The first season was 12 episodes, so one a month the whole year. And, you get in the month that it releases in, it plays to the holiday, the most popular holiday, or one of the holidays that's in that month. So October, Halloween, so on and so forth. You get it. You're smart people. But this one, I watched the trailer to it a while back. I don't honestly remember what it was about, but I remember thinking, wow, this looks like the best Into the Dark episode so far, like by far, honestly. When I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, this looks fantastic. So you can look into that one if you want to get a plot synopsis or whatnot. But so there you go. If you're looking for the next episode of Into the Dark, season 2 does start right after the end of the first season. Okay, next up on October 4th, we have got Wrinkles the Clown. And so this is a found footage movie, and it is about this clown who parents hire to scare their children if they're being bad, misbehaving, and obviously he probably gives them more than they bargained for and kills their kids or something. But I saw the trailer, I watched maybe 30-40 seconds of it, really liked the mask, this like, wrinkly clown face. It looked cool. I'm a found footage fan. Some people are really against it, so if you're against it, we also had another found footage clown movie just last month or month or two called Gags the Clown, which I enjoyed it a good amount, if I remember correctly. I definitely liked it. I just can't remember like if I really liked it or if I just kind of liked. I think I really liked that one. But that one has Lauren Ashley Carter in it, which is a big sell for me, so I'm a little biased on that. But I am really looking forward to Wrinkles the Clown. And then on October 6th, Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 1 premieres. But if you have AMC Premiere, it already premiered on Sunday, on the 30th. And I already watched it and I reviewed it here on the channel. So if you have AMC Premiere, it's already available for you. But there you go. I'm really looking forward to this season, and it's off to a good start. If you really like Season 9 and you like the direction it's heading, this just is carrying that torch back to the glory days of Walking Dead, because it's so damn good again after a good dip. All right, next up on October 8th, a Hulu original with Lupita Nyong'o, Little Monsters, about zombie kids. So this looks cool. I watched, I don't really like trailers. As soon as I'm sold on a trailer, I just shut it off. So I watched like 20-30 seconds. Production value was high. I really like Lupita. It looks fun. It looks like, I think the first thing that would come to any of our minds, obviously, would be Cooties. And this looks like it's probably going to be another Cooties, and maybe even better, because Cooties was good, and I love Elijah Wood, so I am a little biased, but Cooties was good. I just felt like it could have been a little more evil. Like, I really wanted to see it go just a little further, and I don't know. We'll see. This one looks like it's more comedy than horror, just like Cooties was, so I'm not sure how far they'll take it, but we'll see. I'll definitely watch it. All right, then on October 8th, we have Supernatural Season 15, the final season. It is premiering, and I stopped watching after Season 4, and that is not because I didn't like it. It's because it's just, there's so many episodes. It's so hard to keep up with. I loved it. I really did. I was a big fan. Dean and Sam, right? Winchester? Sam and Dean. Yeah. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I haven't seen it since, what is that, like 10 years ago now? It's still a long time since I've seen the show, but I'd love to just binge the thing for a while. I wonder if anyone would care if I like reviewed every episode, but I already screwed up on the X-Files one. Anyways, all right, let's move on. All right, next up. Now, this is something maybe a lot of people don't even know exists, but Facebook actually has a television series catalog. And one of their shows actually looks really good. That's already out, and it's going into its second season, and it has one of my biggest crushes of all time in it. And that show is called... what is that show called? Like, Wish You Were Here, or... it stars Elizabeth Olsen, and she just lost her husband. And it's something like that, or like Missy, or yeah, but it's her dealing with the death of her husband. But it's more dramatic, because as soon as I say that, I think it makes you think of Dead to Me with Christina Applegate, which was fan-freaking-tastic. I can't wait for the second season of that. But this show looks really good. But on October 11th, they have a new show coming to Facebook. All you have to have is a Facebook. That's it. You don't have to have any like premium Facebook account, up the charges, whatever. No, if you have Facebook, if you have an account, you can go to their watch, and they have like, I think they have like 30 original programs. And there's another one coming out with Jessica Biel. Sorry, I'm not getting to the show. It's called The Birch, and it is based on the Crypt TV short that I actually reviewed with my co-hosts on my In the Mic of Madness podcast. Please subscribe to that as well. And we really liked it. The creature was really, really neat. And unfortunately, this does not have a trailer yet or even a synopsis. But on October 11th, it is dropping at least episode 1. And it's like full production. I mean, Sorry for Your Loss. That's the name of the Elizabeth Olsen show. There it is. They look like they're like, from the trailers and stuff, and the ratings, really high ratings. The production value's really high. They got Elizabeth friggin' Olsen. I mean, she's a damn big name right now, obviously being like Scarlet Witch from the Avengers franchise. And they have another one coming out with Jessica Biel called Limetown, I want to say. And it's like a crime show. Looks badass. And if Jessica Biel's last show is any indication of how good it's going to be, which was The Sinner Season 1, which is fucking fantastic, I'm absolutely looking forward to this. I think it's called Limetown. But yeah, the Birch on October 11th coming to Facebook. I actually contacted Facebook and to ask them about this, like, can I review a trailer, can I whatever, and Crypt TV actually responded back to me, and they were like, yeah, we really appreciate your support, we'll have a trailer up soon, but dude, it comes out in 10 days, but they promote it on there, it has like a one of those like animated posters or something. It's cool. It's a cool poster, but that's all we know of it. Anyways, okay, I talked on that one way too long. All right, next up on the same day, October 11th, we have a movie called Fractured. Now, last year, there was a movie called Fractured, which I highly recommend. I think it's still on Amazon Prime. Loved it. It's a movie that, like, 45 minutes in, I seriously was like, this is slow. I don't know what the hell this is. I'm kind of getting bored. And then boom, it just takes this total right turn, and it completely fixed all the 45 minutes here because of what happens. And I was like, wait, what? Oh my God. And I ended up loving it and put it in my top 25 of the year. But this is not that Fractured. This is a movie called Fractured. This is a movie starring Sam Worthington. It's directed. Now, this is the big thing. And the story, I looked into a little bit, but I don't want to know too much about it. I know it's about a guy whose kid breaks his arm, fractures his arm, and he takes him to the hospital, and then some shady shit starts to happen. So it's labeled as a thriller, but it also is popping up on a bunch of horror stuff. So I threw it on here, but the director is the big thing. Brad Anderson, who directed frickin' Session 9. Big fan of Session 9. I actually did not like it at all the first time I watched it. And then the second time I watched it, I actually paid attention, which is really important. You should do that if you watch a movie. And I fucking loved it. And I've loved it every time since. So Brad Anderson coming back to direct a thriller horror, I have no doubt this is going to be worth your time. And if you look at the ratings right now, they're super high from everyone who has seen it. So really looking forward to that. And that is a Netflix original as well. So if you have Netflix and Hulu, man, you're getting a lot this year. Next up, October 11th, same day, Mary. This is one I'm actually really looking forward to because this just straight up says horror. It has no other genres attached to it, just horror, and it stars the legend, one of the greatest actors of all time, starring in a brand new horror movie, Gary fucking Oldman. Yes. Oh wow! And this family wants to start a chartering company on boats, and they go out on this boat, and some shit goes down. Let's just say that. So, Gary Oldman in a horror movie. What else do you need to know? The production value looks high. Knocked my camera. Jeez, I gotta adjust. But the director of this did Megan is Missing, which is one of the only films that ever like genuinely affect me. I'm a father, and watching that shit gave me a full-blown panic attack. I started freaking out while watching it. So the most effective found footage movie I ever watched. He's also been directing American Horror Story and Swamp Thing. And the writer of this actually wrote The Shallows. So the writer does have a little bit of a pedigree when it comes to writing ocean horror. So I thought that was pretty cool. Really looking forward to it. I saw a little teeny bit of the trailer, and the production value was high. It's Gary Oldman. I mean, how can you not want to watch it? Now, the next one here on October 11th, I only am mentioning because I found it interesting that it completely slipped past me. Like, I've not heard one single thing about this, and that's actually, I'm going to say that twice tonight. This one is a little less interesting than the other one because I've actually seen the first part of this, but this one I have not seen the first part of. And I remember this coming out. It's called Along Came the Devil. There was a movie last year. It doesn't have very good ratings. I was going to watch it, but it just slipped past me, and somehow there's already a sequel coming out October 11th, Along Came the Devil 2, and I looked at the cast and crew and everything. Same director, same actors, so it's like a legit follow-up. So if you're a fan of the first one, I might check them both out. Let me know, guys. If you saw the first one, it has shit ratings, so I'm sure anybody who saw it's going to be like, don't watch it. But when it becomes a series, I get really interested. Like, they made a sequel. I mean that can be the 11 11 11 12 12 12 13 13. It's not saying having a sequel even means anything, but I don't know why when it becomes a series I have an interest in it. Bad Ben, I watched the first Bad Ben. I didn't even review it on here because I was going to do the whole thing, and then I put on the second one, which is called like Steamville Road or something. It was so dreadful I had to shut it off. It was like 20-30 minutes in. I was like, this is the most awful fucking film I've seen in a long time. All right, next up on October 15th, really excited for this. The Purge, Season 2 starts. I really enjoyed last season. I did review every single episode, spoiler discussion, as they dropped. And this one I will be doing the same for sure. And this one has the premise that is the most intriguing, the most interesting, and the thing I've talked about by far the most when it comes to this series. I remember when the first movie came out, what did we all say? We want to see what it's like in the city. We want to see what it's like out there, you know, in when you're not locked up in a house. We want to see it on a grander scale. We got that. We got that with all the sequels. We got that with the first season. But the thing I always was asking about is, what is life like right when the purge ends and onward? Like, how do you go back to your life? How do you, like, people who are out to kill you? Like, what? You're just supposed to go back to your life knowing they want to kill you? You have neighbors who came to your house, like in the first one. Spoilers kind of for the first one, but the neighbors are trying to kill him, and then they got to just, the purge ends, and then it's like, all right, I guess we're going home. You know, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. You tried to murder me, you know. And this season is about, I don't know how much of the season is about this, but a good amount from what I saw in the trailer and the description, what life is like after the purge, like right after the purge, which I am just so fucking interested in. It is so intriguing to me. I can't wait. So hell yes. Next up, October 18th, one of my most anticipated movies of this year, and that is Robert Eggers' follow-up to The Witch, The Lighthouse. So, I mean, Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson in this, like, the lengths that Robert Eggers went to. Now, if you're a fan of The Witch, or if you saw The Witch, or if you know anything about The Witch, you know how much this guy has an attention to detail and how much he likes things to match the time period. He had Anna Taylor-Joy and all these people like speaking the language of the time, and the attention to the detail on every little bit of that, the set design, the costumes, all of that stuff was just top notch. Like the movie or not, I know that's a very split film, but it was an incredibly well-made movie, you know, just from a technical standpoint, with all of the costumes and everything. And this guy shot it on like cameras from like the 30s, using lenses from like the 20s, like all sorts of wild stuff. And I've seen trailers and it just looks wild. Robert Pattinson is freaking awesome. And I'm glad that he's going to finally get to start to shine, not only with this, but of course with the Batman coming up. But if you've never seen a movie with Robert Pattinson when he's awesome, there's plenty out there for you to check out. Check out The Rover. Check out, what's that other one? It doesn't matter. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but do your research. Robert Pattinson's awesome. All right, next up on that same day, there's a lot. Holy shit, there's 5 things coming out on the 18th. So this is a big packed day. And the Lighthouse is enormous by itself. But same day in theaters as well, Zombieland Double Tap. My feelings on the first one, I haven't seen it since it came out, so I remember enjoying it. The zombie comedy subgenre, the zomcom, is something that is hit or miss. I do feel like it's a little overplayed, but this was fun. I love Woody Harrelson. I'm an enormous Woody Harrelson fan. I think he's given one of the greatest performances of all time in The People vs. Larry Flint. I also think he's given one of the greatest performances in Natural Born Killers as Mickey Knox. So Woody Harrelson's fantastic. And then Emma Stone, I love her. I'll definitely do Zombieland, the first one, as a Monster Monday before that. But yeah, you guys know everything about that. I don't need to tell you what that is. All right, next up on October 18th as well, a Netflix original called Eli. And this is about a kid with an autoimmune disease, and he's fighting it in this house, but then in this house is unsafe in some capacity. I don't know if it's haunted. I don't know if people are trying to get him. I don't know what. I only could find a description. I couldn't find a trailer on this thing at all. But this is directed by the guy who directed Sinister 2, which I thought was really awkward. I remember this being a very awkward movie because it had Shannon Sossman and it was James Ransbone or whatever from It Chapter 2 recently. Their chemistry was just the most awkward shit I ever watched, and it really bogged the film down for me. And he also directed a movie called The Citadel, which a lot of people love. In fact, a subscriber of mine sent me, I think, a Blu-ray of it not too long ago. And I really didn't care for it because as a father, I can't stand when dads don't protect their kids, and the whole movie is essentially about this guy who's like too crippled by his fear to help his children. It's a very visually cool movie and all this, but I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. The writer of the movie wrote Cheap Thrills and The Autopsy of Jane Doe, both great movies. So the writer's solid, and I think that the director has a lot of talent. I haven't really cared for the 2 movies of his I recognized. All right, moving on. On October 18th as well, a movie called Trick, which looks like a slasher film, and it is directed by Patrick Lussier, whatever, and Todd Farmer wrote it. They usually work together. They did My Bloody Valentine together and Drive Angry, and the dude even wrote Jason X. So I think that's how he got into the business, which I'm a fan of Jason X. I think it's just super silly fun. But there's this pumpkin mask killer. He's at a party. I saw the trailer. I watched maybe 30 seconds, and I was like totally sold. Slasher flick. These guys are fun. That Drive Angry movie, it's outrageous. It's so over the top. But, I mean, what else are you going to do with Nicolas Cage? He's absolutely insane. And they used him well in that. I think is that the one where Nick Cage is like having sex while having a shootout? I think that's that one. And I want to say that's not the first movie to do that. I want to say some other movie did that too, but whatever. Wait, Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen? Did they do that too? God, that's a fun movie too, man. Where he's like shooting the freaking little merry-go-round or whatever the hell. Fun stuff. All right, next up on October 18th, again, as I said, Jesus, man, so many. A movie called Wounds. Now, I was a little bit confused because the poster says Netflix, and then when you watch the trailer, it says Hulu, which I've never seen before. So I was like, what in the hell is this mystery? And the mystery is that, I wrote it down here, it's in Netflix is for the UK, and in the United States, it's Hulu. So I don't know what it is if you're in Australia or anything else like that. Like, I don't know. You're gonna have to figure that one out. But if you're in the UK, it's gonna be on Netflix. If you're in the United States, it's on Hulu. So, but anyway, this stars Armie Hammer and Dakota Johnson, and this is directed by the guy who directed the film from Jordan, Under the Shadow, which I thought was a really cool, artsy horror flick. But yeah, I mean, it was a Middle Eastern horror movie, and I remember hearing a lot about it, and I bought into it. But yet again, that's a parent and their kid dealing with a problem. I'm a little biased when it comes to that stuff, but I dug it. So I know that Armie Hammer is a bartender, and he finds a phone that's left behind at his bar, and when he goes into it, there's some fucking wild stuff in it, and he's like, what the hell? And then, of course, probably people come for the phone or whatever. Kind of reminds me of Unfriended Dark Web, when that guy finds the laptop, and then there's all this crazy shit on it, and his friends are like, get rid of it. Kind of like that. I know a lot of people hated that movie. I didn't, but... yeah. Anyways, all right. Next up, October 22nd, we have a movie. This Hulu. I don't think I wrote that down, but I swear, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a Hulu movie. It's called Sweetheart. Now, I will say up front, it's PG-13, but it is essentially Castaway, the Tom Hanks movie. Wilson! But it is a creature feature. So she washes up on shore on an island, and then she has to, like, predator battle. So it's like Castaway meets Predator. But it's a young girl, and I don't know. Like, I want to see the monster in the of course they're just trying to sell you on the film, but on the screen during the trailer, it has the little stuff up there, like little blurbs from other reviewers who have seen the movie, and it's like one of the most unique creatures in recent memory or something. So I have to say, now if it's anything like that movie Man Versus, which I literally shut off the second I saw the monster. I watched an hour of that movie, was totally into it, felt like I was watching almost like Predator in a way, but like a slower version of Predator. And I was waiting. I was like, oh, this is getting tense. This is getting cool. And then I saw the monster, and I swear to you, I laughed out loud and shut it off instantly. It was this CGI. It was the worst, dude. It was like early 1990 CGI in like a 2015, 2014 movie. It was insane. I was like, what? You're trying to sell me on this? Get out of here. So we'll see what the creature's like. And as I said, PG-13, but that's not always a death sentence by any means. I've seen some great PG-13 horror movies. All right, next up on October 23rd, we have Season 2 of Castle Rock. I reviewed every episode of Castle Rock as it dropped, and I really enjoyed the season. The last episode felt very lackluster to me. I was very disappointed in it. I had all these predictions. I had all this stuff. And it's not because my predictions were wrong. Trust me, I'm not that guy. I don't care. Subversions of expectations, all that stuff, awesome. Do it. But this was just, I didn't understand it. I was like, what? Wait, huh? No. No. Okay, no. But this season deals with Annie Wilkes from Misery. So if you don't know what Castle Rock is, it's essentially a universe that can draw from any Stephen King novel, which is, hey, ironic. Here you go. But last season it had all sorts of elements from all sorts of Stephen King novels, and this one, Annie Wilkes from Misery, is working at Shawshank Prison in the hospital ward, I think. And I saw some other references in the trailer as well. So highly looking forward to this. I hope it can end stronger than the last season. But holy shit, last season, even though it didn't end as much as as well as I may have liked, freaking Sissy Spacek blew me away. Like, I think it was like episode 8 or 9 or something, and it was seriously one of the best performances I've ever seen on television, for sure. It was just stunning how I was like, wow, I forgot how damn good Sissy Spacek is at acting, but she was incredible in that show. So hopefully we can get a better season than last season. Even though I did like all of it, just when something ends weak, it's like, all right. Next up on October 25th, all the rest of these are going to be October 25th. So and that's it. That's it for it. So nothing past that I could find. Please, if you find something, if you're still here, if you know of other things that I missed that you find are noteworthy, whatever, I looked in so many different locations to make this list, man. This is such a ton of work. So if you find some stuff, please let us know in the comments below. All right, next up, we have a film called Girl on the Third Floor, and this stars CM Punk from WWE. Was a big WWF fan when I was a kid. Growing up, I was a big freaking Heartbreak Kid fan. I really liked The Rock. I liked Steve Austin. I liked all that stuff. I was watching when like Mankind had that Hell in the Cell fight with The Undertaker and he threw him off the top of this. That was the craziest shit I ever watched. I was crazy into it when I was a kid, but I don't watch it at all anymore. I probably haven't watched it since I was 17, 16, 17, somewhere in that area. But man, when I liked it, I was crazy into it. So I get it. It's fun. Just not my thing. So I don't know anything about CM Punk, but I did watch a little bit of this trailer. This is from Dark Skies Pictures, which I think, they produce some pretty decent movies. But this is essentially like a haunted house flick. From the trailer that I saw, I only watched maybe 45 seconds to a minute, but I thought his acting was pretty solid. So, I mean, that's what they have to do. They have to go out there and act every night, and they have to do it in a very, brutal way, getting thrown around. You might think that's fake, but man, those guys destroyed. You really think that freaking Mick Foley is doing fake stuff? Watch The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke if you want to know what a wrestler's life is really like. The pain they put their bodies through, the shit. When people are like, oh, it's fake, those guys are bullshit, dude. Those guys are tough as all hell. The shit they demand of those guys. I remember watching that fight where Steve Austin like broke his fucking neck essentially, and then he still had to win that fight because it was staged that way, and he couldn't even move. And the guy had to like pretend to like trip himself, and then he almost like threw like Steve Austin's arm over him so he could lose. And Austin had to finally just be like, you remember that? Anybody? Okay, let's move on. People don't give a shit about the WWF. Now the WWE. But yeah, from what I saw, it looks cool. All right, now this one, a lot of people will probably think I'm crazy for finding interesting, but I love this premise, man. And this looks like it's going to get a theater release, so I'm absolutely going. The Countdown, October 25th. It's an app you download and it tells you when you're gonna die. It's like a ring. It looks like it looks like a play on Japanese horror. So J horror, I guess, is what they call it. But yeah, I like technology horror. It'd probably be shit, but hey, man, I went into Unfriended thinking it was gonna be shit, and it was like one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie from that year in the horror genre, anyway. I love Unfriended, so I'm not saying this is gonna be the next Unfriended. I'm sure it's not, but I saw the trailer and I liked the premise. I was like, okay, that's cool. It kind of reminds me of a horror version of the movie Timer, which is a science fiction romance movie, rom-com. Great movie. You can, some people are hardcore against them, romantic comedies, and that's fine. That's your own thing, but I thought that was a great flick, and this kind of looks like a horror version of that. Like it's just counting down to the day you're gonna die, which would be horrible. That'd be terrifying, wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be terrifying if you got your freaking timer and all your friends were like 80 years, 30 years, 50 years, and then you get yours and it's like 2 days, and you're like, fucking thing's lame, broken, whatever. And then as I'm sure more people find out like they're getting killed by it, she's like, oh shit, this is real. She starts seeing freaky shit, I'm sure. I don't know, it'll be fun. Fuck it, I'm going. And then okay, finally, here we go, we got to the end after 35 freaking minutes. This was a movie I had no idea was made. I knew it was getting made, but I didn't really. Anyway, that is Gallows, the second act, or act 2, I think. And that comes out October 25th. It's a found footage movie. A lot of people hated the first one. I remember thinking it was okay, or maybe not. God, I barely remember it. I remember thinking it was kind of lame, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll check out the first one again before I go and watch this one. I probably will for the channel. But yeah, what are you guys looking forward to the most? Man, as I said, these are all noteworthy to me, so I will be watching every single one of these, no doubt about it. So yeah, let me know. That was fun. Took a lot of freaking time, but it's worth it for you guys. All right, guys, let me know. And happy October. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to have fun over the next month. I mean, I'm going to continue to do this like I do all the time. It's not going to be any different, but I'm going to get a lot more views during this time. So I'm definitely going to be trying to crank out a lot of popular stuff, because that's what gets the hits. And that's why I do this, is to hopefully get some more subscribers and whatnot. You know, got to have some reward, right? All right, guys. Adios.